Hey guys, welcome to my new channel, and today I want to share with you a story that I hold near and dear to my heart. I've heard of it many years ago. I'm pretty sure it was on TV, and I've forgotten a lot of parts to it, but I'm going to try my best to tell you my version. So I hope you guys enjoy it. It honestly has helped me so much over the years, just with, bad days and, going through rough times. I'll always carry that story with me. I think a lot of stories out there are very healing and it's almost therapeutic. So this is a story of an old man and his pearl. So, once upon a time, there was an old man who lived a very simple but pleasant life with his wife. His wife would stay at home and cook the meals, and the old man would usually go fishing on his boat, and he would gather fish to eat with him and his wife at night. He would usually come home around nighttime. He would get up early. He would go fishing, sell some fish at the market during the daytime. If he caught a lot more than him and his wife needed to eat. And sometimes he would even pick up freshwater pearls to sell at the market as well for people who wanted to purchase it for jewelry purposes. And those freshwater pearls weren't worth a lot of money, but they would still go about $50 for small pearls. The old man never really dreamed of a extremely wealthy life in any sense. He was happy with what he had. So one day, the old man was fishing, and he was fishing. Not much fish came up that day, so he was worried that he was going to go back to his wife that night without dinner. But after a while, he saw something shiny near the bottom of the water. So he kept trying to fish, and he pulled it out. And it was a giant pearl. It was a pearl the size of his fist. And he knew just by looking at that pearl, even though he's never seen a pearl that big, that it would be worth at least $1 million. And him and his wife basically won the lottery, and their lives will be forever changed. He was so happy. He didn't know what to do with himself. So as he was staring at the pearl, he realized there's a tiny speck of black dot on that pearl. Why, oh why, is there a little black dot on the pearl? Now it's not going to be worth as much as it was supposed to. So the old man thought to himself, maybe I should just dig out that little black piece on that pearl. Then maybe nobody would notice. So he took out a knife and dug out a little tiny piece where the black dot was at. And the black dot was still there, but now there's a dent in the giant pearl. The old man knew that he had no choice but then to scrape around where he had dug at the little black dot that was still there and polish the entire pearl to make sure that it was shiny and smooth and hopefully get rid of that little black dot. So this time, instead of digging directly at the little black dot, he had to polish the entire pearl, so it lost one layer, but the little black dot was still there. So he decided, I guess I'm just going to have to scrape down another layer. I'm going to have to polish it again, and hopefully the little black dot would be gone. So he dug a second layer, and nothing has changed. We've lost 2 layers now on the pearl, he thought, but that tiny little black dot is still there. Impurities in diamonds aren't good, so impurities in pearls are definitely not good, the old man thought. And he wanted to surprise his wife. He wanted to go home and make her happy and show her this giant pearl the size of a fist, shiny, sparkly, and with no impurities. So he thought, I'm just going to have to do it again. And he polished it for a 3rd time this time, losing a 3rd layer on that giant pearl the size of a fist, and that little black dot, the tiny little black dot, would not go away. At this rate, the other fishermen on boats saw what the old man was doing, and they saw the giant pearl. So they rowed their boats over and asked the old man, "What are you doing? What are you doing, old man?" they said. That's a huge pearl. You could still sell it for at least $1 million. Stop polishing it." But the old man did not listen to them. He said to himself, "I have the perfect pearl, and I'm going to make millions of dollars. I need to get rid of this little black tiny dot." The other fishermen were stunned. They were shocked that he wouldn't just row his boat back to his wife right now and sell it at the market for $1 million. He literally has the winning lottery ticket, and he is tearing it into pieces. The old man didn't listen. He didn't care for the whispers, the murmurs of the others who were surrounding him at this rate. He just continued to stare at his pearl. And by nightfall, the old man had polished the pearl over and over and over again. At this point, he had polished it at least 100 times. Everybody had left. There was nothing left to see. The old man looked down at his hands, and that giant fist-sized pearl is now so small that it was worth less than a tiny average freshwater pearl that sold for less than $50. The old man cried. He didn't know what had just happened to him. Only hours ago in daylight, he had the biggest pearl that anyone had ever seen. Why, oh why, the old man thought. Why didn't I just stop polishing the pearl when it was the size of my fist? I could have changed the lives of my wife and I. But I didn't. And now we have nothing again. The old man rowed his boat back to his wife. He told her the story. She said, "It's all right. It's okay. We never really had the money to begin with. So if you think about it, we didn't really lose anything. It was really lucky that you found the pearl. But we'll just go back to living life as we always had. Just like you've never seen the pearl. Nothing has changed. We still love each other. We'll be just fine." But the old man did not believe that. Every day from that day forward, the old man continuously went to that same spot where he found the giant pearl, hoping that he would find it again. He never did. A few months went by, and the old man had gotten sicker and sicker and sicker due to the unhappiness that he felt and the pain and regret of the fact that he once had the winning ticket. He had the giant pearl that was worth at least $1 million, and he had made it disappear with his bare hands by polishing it, all because of that tiny little black dot. The old man just could not get over this. The old man was so sad. Every single day after the day that he had found the giant pearl and polished it all away with his bare hands, he could not live with himself. He could not think of anything but that pearl for the rest of his life. As the old man lay dying in his bed, he said to his wife, "Oh, why did I have to polish the pearl?" And he passed away. So, this is a really, really sad story, but I honestly can personally relate to it a lot. And I think a lot of you, any one of us who has ever made a mistake in our lives or had something really terrible happen to us, I think we can all relate to the fact that when something negative happens in your life or something bad happens to you, whether it's due to your own fault or not, we usually think about that event or that thing that had occurred and continuously allow it to take up space in our minds and take up our precious time. And every time I think about this story, I remind myself that life is just way too short to be sad about things that have already happened. So basically, it's kind of like the milk has already spilled, right? And if you're continuously going to cry over spilled milk, well, nothing's going to change. And you're really only making yourself suffer. So I love this story because this story, I think, is trying to teach people to really value and appreciate their lives and the time that we have on this earth, which is honestly pretty short, and not to let little problems like that little tiny black dot ruin our entire lives. So I feel like a lot of the times, and I could personally relate to this story a lot, when everything is going right and then one little thing is off, we tend to just focus on that problem, and then we kind of miss out on the bigger picture and all the great things that we have in life. So I think a lot of the times many people will complain about their lives and everything that's wrong with it, instead of appreciating all the great and fantastic parts of their lives. So this old man had a great life. It was simple, but he was happy, and he had his wife. He still had his wife even after he lost the pearl, but he stopped appreciating. It's like he just stopped appreciating everything around him once he discovered this $1 million winning ticket of a giant pearl and lost it. So it's kind of like he put all his focus on this one tiny little issue in his life, or this one major event that didn't go his way, and he pretty much gave up the rest of his life for that one moment, right? And if you look at it another way, it's kind of like that little tiny black dot, that impurity he was trying to get rid of to obviously make more money, which is understandable. But I feel like that little tiny black dot is referring to the fact that sometimes things in life are just fine the way it is, but one little thing goes wrong and we continuously focus at it. And it's like we poke at it. And really, the pearl kind of represents, the way I see it is like the pearl represents us. And the little black dot might be a terrible event that happened to you, or maybe a mistake that you made in your life, and you just continuously go back to it and poke at it, and you continuously think about it. And it's almost like we are the pearl, and that little tiny black dot is our problems, or at least the problems that we perceive to have in our minds. And it's literally tainting our lives because we decide to focus on it. So if the old man had just accepted the tiny little black dot, the little flaw, and went and sold it, he would have been totally fine. So I love this story because I've made many mistakes in my life, and a lot of the times, and I still go back and forth even with these stories, and they really help, I think, in terms of kind of giving myself therapy through the stories when I remember them and apply it to my life. I still have moments where I think about my past mistakes and, it bothers me. But then I think about this story and about the fact that, yes, I made mistakes. But if I keep focusing on these mistakes in my life, I'm going to be focusing on that little tiny black dot instead of focusing on my life that is the pearl, that giant pearl that has tons of value. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy the story as much as I love the story. And hopefully, the next time that you hit a bump in the road, or, made a little mistake and you're having a bad day, you can remember the story in the sense that we all have that little black dot in our giant pearl. And I personally believe that nobody's life is perfect, and there's always going to be these little impurities and these little problems and issues here and there, whether it's because we did it ourselves or maybe somebody did that to us. But either way, it's a choice to view your life either focusing on the little impurities of it, or focusing on the larger picture and the giant pearl that is our life and is still positive, and focusing on all the amazing things that does surround you, and see that you have so much to live for and you don't have to just focus on the bad. I think obviously what happened to the old man in the story is really sad. I mean, to once have had the opportunity and lost it. But if you just keep focusing on what you've lost in life, then you've really lost to that one day, right? It's like you let that one day or that one event or problem in your life ruin the rest of your life. And that, at the end of the day, is just not worth it for anybody. If you enjoy my story, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys soon.